Hello and welcome to the Wayfaring Panda. I'm Annette. Today I'm participating in a YouTube hop with the paper crafting YouTubers. And our theme today is Let It Snow. So I found these really old pictures from 1988 of my sister's dog, Scamp. And I was watching her because my sister lived in Mexico for a year. She was a missionary there. So my mom and dad and myself were taking care of the dog. So I took these pictures showing the dog playing out in the snow, and back in the back is our pool covered in snow and ice. So I'm using these cutting system from Creative Memories. This is what my mom has. My aunt used to be a consultant, so you just use this plastic to see what size you want to cut them out, and then use the different size rings and the different colored cutting blades to see what size you need and to cut them in circles. The last time I used this cutting system, and I did it on a video, I forgot to put this mat underneath and I cut my craft mat. So it gave me a good reason to get a Tim Holtz glass mat, which I have underneath this mat. I recently got a scan and cut machine, so I made the stencil with that. I got the image of the sweater design off Etsy, and then I typed in the word sweater weather and had that cut out. So I'll link the video where I showed how I made this stencil at the end of this video. And I'm just taping that down so it doesn't move around, and I also taped the paper down with the purple tape. It's kind of like painter's tape, it's low tack. Now I picked out these inks to go with the paper I was showing you and also with the pictures that I have. So the red I took somewhere in between the bright red on the sweater, on the dog sweater, and the red that's in the papers, which is more of a cranberry red. So I'm using barn door, and I'm going to use that on the sweater pattern, and on the letters I'm using speckled egg distress ink, and I'm just using a Tim Holtz ink blender to go over the letters and the rest of the stencil. And one time I'm using a regular old type of foam that came with it originally, and then on one of them I have the foam dome that I got from Scrapbook.com, and also now Tim Holtz is selling those also. I find those blend better, but I'm just using up the old ones before I switch them over. And I'm not going like completely dark on all these. I'm kind of getting light and dark because I think it looks more snowy that way. You'll notice the picture keeps kind of scooting over. My camera started slowly falling down and I didn't realize that. It didn't completely fall off, but it was kind of moving. So that's why the image is moving in the video. Then the fun part is taking your stencil off. And the great thing about this, using the distress ink, it washed off just by running water over it. Next, I'm going to cut out some snowflakes with my brother Scan and Cut. So I'm just showing this screen. I'm sorry the light's not very good here since I can't do it at my regular desk. So I just pick shapes, and then I'm going and picking out the snowflakes. Then I'm increasing the size on my snowflakes so they'll be big enough to poke out on both the height and the width from behind my pictures, so they'll be kind of a photo frame. Now, the problem I had is I kind of expected a square, like the height and width to be the same, but they're not. So I had to go recheck my size of my pictures to make sure that the width will be big enough to poke out from behind my photo. And also be small enough to fit on the paper that I'm going to cut out. Once I said OK to the image, it shows up on this mat, and so that you can see that it's 12 squares across and 12 squares down, which is 12 by 12, and you can see how big your paper is and how to find it. So first of all, I just found where I can turn it over 90 degrees so that I can get all 4 snowflakes on my paper because it's not 12 by 12. And then I'm looking for the other that I wasn't quite sure where to find the duplicate. And then I found it was this box that has the plus sign on it. And then you can say how many more you want. And then I just move it over. Now, if you want more information about the Scan and Cut, I can do some more videos. I'm kind of learning since I'm new. And if you're not interested, of course, I won't put out this in every video. But I thought it might be good for those of you who have your Scan and Cut in your box and haven't used it, or maybe only used it for cutting stamped images, Or maybe you're like me and have a new one and don't know how to use it. Once you have your images where you want, which is where my paper is, I'm selecting test, and it'll put a little triangle, and you can move that to where you're going to have paper but not where it's going to cut the images. And then you can push OK, and it'll cut a little triangle on your paper, so you can make sure that it's cutting your paper enough but not cutting through your mat. Now this is a Scan and Cut DX125, so the DX series has an automatic blade where it measures and should cut correctly, but different paper is different weight, so you want to make sure it's not cutting to your mat. So it's cutting a little deeper than I wanted, so then I changed the pressure. Now that I'm satisfied with how it's cutting, I just push start, and then it starts cutting out the images. Then when you're done, you just push the mat button. It's the one in the middle, and it'll unload the mat, and you can take off your snowflakes and your paper. I'm using a low tack mat, which is what I find you mostly need with paper. Then I just use my art glitter glue to glue my photos onto my snowflakes, and I just like this because it has a smaller nozzle, which makes it easier to go on the thin snowflakes. Whatever adhesive you use, you would just make sure it's non-acidic, because you don't want to ruin your photos. I also like using Nouveau Deluxe glue. Then I arrange my photos on my layout how I think I'll want them, and then I just get a piece of paper from the Echo Park collection, and it says Let It Snow, and I use my black micron pen to do my journaling. So I just tell about how I was watching my sister's dog Scamp while she was living in Mexico and sharing the responsibility with my mom and dad. And then I also tell about how Scamp liked to play out in the powdery snow when it wasn't too deep, and also she didn't like us taking off her sweater, so when she would come inside, she would run under my waterbed so we couldn't get it off. Another funny story, well, it wasn't funny at the time, but remembering back, she would go around the sidewalk around the pool really fast, and she slid into the pool a couple times, and then my dad had to fish her out. I think one time he actually got in the pool to get her out. Not when it was icy, though. She didn't fall in then. So anyway, after a while, she was more careful around the pool because she did not like getting wet. Then I just kind of played around with the paper and stickers, trying to decide where I wanted everything. I decided I wanted this little bird paper to be kind of a ribbon hanging down from one of the snowflakes. So I just kind of played with that to see which snowflake looked best. And I decided it worked best with the smaller picture with Scamp standing in front of the fence. And then also I decided I needed to trim down the ribbon so it would fit better. Once I have a basic idea where I want all my photos and the journaling, then I'm just deciding upon the embellishments that I'm using from the stickers from the Echo Park collection and where I want to put them. So I decided I want to use the Let It Snow because our theme is Let It Snow, and plus it is snowing in the pictures. Then I just use this terrible tape, and I think it's 1/8 inch. I always use 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch to tape down my embellishments, and also I'm using the glue. I'll put a list of all the products that I'm using in the description below. Some of these products may no longer be available since the paper packs are usually only available for a year or two, but I'll list them below, and some of these will be affiliate links. They don't cost you anything to use, but I do get a small commission from any sales that the links generate, and this helps support my YouTube channel and my website. And I want to thank you for using those if you do go shopping. The camera went off while I was finishing up, so I finished up off camera gluing and taping everything down, and also I started putting on these jewels, and I put them where the E, the A are on the letters because when I did the stencil it didn't cut out the little circles that are in the E's and A's, so I put this little jewels. They're kind of aqua colored, and I believe these are from actually I don't know where they're from, so I'll put that in the description below. I don't know if they make these anymore. And I put them around the tips of the snowflakes, and I just use my art glitter glue to glue those down, and then I'm just adding a few extra stickers. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate if you can give it a like, and if you're not a subscriber, I'd really appreciate if you can subscribe to the channel. I'll have a list of all the other participants in the hop below, so just follow along to the next person to get more inspiration for doing your scrapbook layouts. I really appreciate you watching, and have a wonderful day.